Respect the place that you call home. Respect the land in which you roam. Respect the country you were born. Let's take it back. Respect reform. Hold on to freedom, hold on to hope. Don't give them slack, don't give them rope. Don't walk and hang your head in shame. Be proud, stand tall, and we will reign.
Hi guys, it's episode 38, and tonight we have a very interesting show. We're starting with a local story from Exwick that shows the real cost of war, and then we're asking whether Britain is ready for what's happening in the world today. We're going to discuss the state of the British military, and indeed whether Britain is even proud of its military. So tonight, I'm very proud to host Neil Stevens, his brother Tony, and a special guest, Helen. And so, who are these people actually? Neil, what is your role here on this
after
podcast?
38 episodes, if you don't know who I am. So I am Councillor Stevens for Carrick and Alphington District, and I'm very proud to serve that. And this is one of our methods to getting the message out to everybody, what we've been doing in the community, what people have been writing to us, either by email or whatever. And our mission is to deliver it and to explain what we've been doing so everybody understands. Because there's nothing worse than, the person who you don't know what they're doing to help the community.
Okay, fantastic. And you, sir?
Well,
the underground bunker?
funny enough, I'm also Councillor Stevens for St Thomas and Exwick. And the same message goes, we're there to sort of hopefully update you of anything that goes on, be it roadworks or anything that we're trying to sort out for you.
Thank you, guys. So you're both Devon County councillors. You're both brothers. I assume you're brothers. And you both lived here all your life. That's fantastic. And we also have another guest, Helen. Just briefly tell our audience who you are and whether you're a local resident as well, please.
I'm Helen. I'm a local resident. I currently live in Exwick. I've lived in the same house for 38 years. I was actually born in Exmouth, but moved up here with my parents when they retired. My father was born in Exeter, and so was his family. So they go back generations and generations of people in Exeter.
And am I correct? You wouldn't live the other side of the river?
No.
No, and I don't blame you on that one, so.
Okay, thank you very much. And hey, as we do normally, we have facility for you all to text us. The number on the screen, please. And also you can, if you'd like to, you can write in on YouTube, and you can send us some texts on Facebook, right, Tony?
Yes.
Thanks
yes,
very
text, YouTube, and anything. We're quite willing to have a go at any question you ask.
Yeah, and what we got is my wife is in the background, Dana. Hi, Dana. Hi. And she's dealing with any messages coming through. And when the messages come through, we will try and answer them right there and then.
Yeah, and that's to show you we're live, by the way, and not pre-recorded.
Okay, great. So we have, a focus on the community issues, right, Neil? You want to just talk about why we have a focus on community and not anything else,
the main thing about this, I know we jump out the box a little bit, but, it's quite interesting to discuss what's going on in the world right now, which does affect this area, and it will affect the whole of Exeter, the whole of Devon, and the whole of United Kingdom. Right, but our main thing is local problems. We're going to be discussing, or a little bit talking about the transport issues, right? Some of the council decisions, which right or wrong, about the potholes, which is one of our favourite. And we want community, oh, my hair's sticking up there, community concerns, right? So if you've got concerns, I've had a lot of messages regarding the bus services. And yeah, you are correct. It's not just about Alphington and Carrick, St Thomas, Exwick. It's about the whole of Exeter and Devon. So that's what we'll be discussing for the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, Tony, meeting updates.
I mean, Exwick, St Thomas, updates. I've been in touch with Exeter City Council, Merivale Road. They do assure me that the building work is starting this week by a company called Cllrs. If anyone sees them out there, let me know, because I haven't spotted them yet, but I'm sure they're around somewhere. I've been in touch with one of the local councillors in Exwick, Paul Knott, or he's got in touch with me, sorry. A bit of fly tipping there in Kinnerton Way. He's trying to organise people to sort of come along and help clear it up. You know, it is one of those hindrances that people decide they'd rather chuck rubbish in the hedge, and then it's other people's problems. So hopefully we'll get volunteers on that. And the final thing, I published what we get every year, which is a locality grant. So I've used all mine up this year. It starts again in May, which we get actually more money. But the money goes to worthy causes in our area, and it must benefit organisations. You can actually look and see who benefited last year, or this year, sorry. And if anyone wants to sort of put an application in for next year after May, feel free. We'll have a look at it, and hopefully you'll be successful in some way or another.
Yeah. So, and my locality budget is all gone as well. And same again, I think we spent it on about 15 different organisations. And just to emphasise, April, it comes to April, May.
No, it's May,
Sorry.
and we've got more this year.
Yeah, so May, we're going to have £10,000. It goes to the community in our 4 divisions or 4 areas. So please, if you want it, apply for it. If you
Don't
pass,
get too
you get the
silly,
money.
though, because, you know,
Yeah.
there is a limit to what we will give out.
Right, so going back to, we had a good meeting with Peter, Stagecoach, last Friday. Juliet, thank you for coming down with me. I took one of the local residents. Her voice matters, and it's really good because we sit down and then you hear it from the horse's mouth of what's going on. But saying that, I've had really good feedback from the posts regarding Labour. Sorry, Helen, I must emphasise, Helen is actually politically neutral, but I will bring some things up about politics. So, Helen, please accept my apology.
It's fine.
All right. But what we're talking about now is Stagecoach gave me all what's happening in the future. I've had some fantastic feedback. Then Labour have jumped on the bandwagon saying they've spent 14-something million on the new electric buses. Factually, that's not all correct. It's our money. Stagecoach already paid a substantial amount of it. And if you look at my Facebook page, it will explain a little bit more. But I also had somebody who's a bus driver who gave me some more information. So thank you for that. And what I'll do is I will generate an email to Stagecoach and get answers to that questions. All right. But I must, Rob, before you cut me off, I have had 3 days away with my mother, who's 85 years old. And she walked and walked. We were doing 18 to 20,000 steps a day. And she's 85, I'm 60, paratrooper, blah, blah, blah. My wife made me laugh. Dana, I can't bring you on. But Rob, carry on. I'll come back to that in a minute.
No, in fact, I had 5 hours of pickleball today, Neil, and I don't think I could even 18,000 steps. So hat tip to you and your mother, okay?
Well,
But and I'd like to give a hat tip to old Rob Bone. What a great YouTube handle, whoever you are. But he, she, they is asking a great question, actually. Maybe you guys could take this away. Tony, this is a good one for you, maybe. If you could maybe find out what the other councillors have spent on their, and how they spent their locality budget.
I can answer that now. You can actually go online. It'll all be published. You can go online. It's freedom of information. It will tell you at the end of this financial year where the money was spent. Anything that's not spent, they've changed it now, does get carried over. It didn't used to be. It did used to be swallowed up by the council to be used in youth projects.
Oh, good. And where do they find it? Is it the Devon County Council
Just
website?
go on Devon
or what?
County Council, locality grants. You'll find an application form. We work together. Sometimes we will sort of help other county councillors on well causes. Like I think one of mine was for veterans to come together to have a dinner at Christmas.
I want to go back to my mother.
Oh, all right, fair
Yeah,
enough.
sorry, my mother. First of all, Anthony, brother-in-law, thanks for watching.
Anyway, I hope that
Anthony in
answers the
Canada.
question from old Rob Bone. Thank you.
Anthony in Canada. We've got people watchers in Canada. So just a quick question. My mother walked around 20,000 steps. We were getting on the plane yesterday and my mother says, oh, my ankles are hurting me. I can't tell you exactly what my wife said, but she said, ankles are hurting her. She said, my shoulders hurting me. My elbows are hurting. My knees are hurting. My legs are hurting. And she's only talking about her ankles and she's 85 years old. It did make me laugh. Sorry, mother, well done. And thank you for a fantastic holiday.
Was your mother in the British Army as well, Neil?
Oh, Christ, she could have passed my selection easily. And while we're talking about that, this is my tie for my regiment. Green tie, you can't see it, but I'll wear this with pride. Thank you for my regiment.
Yeah. And tell you what, Neil, since you've got some piece of military artifact on there, next week I'm going to wear my athletic jacket, which I've proudly kept in my closet for 54 years.
Well, we
Still
flexing our
fit.
muscles or something here, are we?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, back on track. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So focus tonight is going to shift on to the military today, the Army, which is the unit, the military division you were in, Neil, of course. And but let's bring this closer to home. You want to start the discussion on that, Neil?
Yeah. So Helen, I was discussing last week different subject what we were on, and Helen actually reached out to me and said about history, and she was very proud, which I'm not going to take the glory away, regarding her family tree and how a lot of her family were in the First World War. And I thought, isn't this brilliant to see people in the local community who's connected to people who have sacrificed themselves in order for us to live the way we live. And to listen to Helen's story, which she sent me all the details. I've only put so many pictures up. She sent me loads. And you know what? I'm very proud to actually be sat next to Helen, and I'm looking forward to hearing the story. And what I say to you, I know some of the background, but we don't rehearse this. Helen's basically came in 10 minutes before, Helen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 minutes before, and she said she's not nervous, and I know she isn't. So I'm looking forward to a story. So let's start this story off. Two brothers, Second World War, 1914, and I think one of them, they were 19 years old. I'm going to hand it over to you, Helen. Look forward to
Well,
it.
my grandfather was 31, so he wasn't front line. But his brother, he was front line, and he was 19 years old, and he was literally blown to pieces. They never found his body, so, he's still there. But it was a double whammy, really, for my grandmother, because not only did she lose her son, but my great auntie also lost her husband. Both names are on the cross at Exwick.
We get that picture up of the cross in Exwick?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's brilliant that people can look at the cross and see the names of the ones who sacrificed themselves, and they're not forgotten.
So let's step back. If I remember, he won some competitions, one of your relatives. He was driving a cart and he won some medals and some money. I read
Driving
the
a cart.
history. He won.
I haven't read that.
31
you've read
shillings.
something. Yeah,
31 shillings
you've
he
read
won.
more than I have.
Oh, yeah, you see.
Just think, a 19-year-old lad, and I joined the army at 16, and I was very, very naive. That's the best way. So to have two of them join the army in the First World War,
Yeah, he was 17 when he joined, I think. something
17.
like that.
Now,
Yeah.
imagine going for your Queen and Country. Was it King and Country then? Queen and Country? King and Country?
King and Country then.
King and Country. To get enlisted, I don't think, did they have a choice?
No, I don't think
I
they
think
did.
they
I think they were just
started
called
off.
up.
They started off as they wanted volunteers, and once the volunteers ran out, then they sort of got more people involved in other ways.
So so two of your family went away.
Yeah,
One came back.
and the other one didn't.
And we went, how did the family do? I know you weren't there then, but that must have been a shock.
It must have been shocking for them, really, because, like I say, it's not just my grandfather's brother, but his sister's husband. So both of them died. They They are commemorated in Ypres on the memorial there, but no bodies found. So, they never had a grave, which is
There's no real closure,
very
really.
sad.
No, it's not.
Very, very sad.
Helen, when you mentioned that one of your relatives was burnt, do you know anything about that?
No. I think you've read in more than I have.
Oh, yeah, you see, look.
No. So the reason we're bringing this story up, so war affects everybody. All right, and we're going to come on to the show, and this opens up. War does affect everybody, and nobody wants to go to war. Nobody wants to fight. But the question I would ask you in the First World War, the Boer War, the Second World War, why do we fight? We fight because governments tell us to fight. And, if we go picky, would you fight for this country now? Can I swear?
Go
Would
on.
I, hell?
Yeah.
Would I fight for this country? Right. No, I wouldn't. Not for this country. So, I might contradict myself later on. But so bringing Helen on, and you also do past and present. Tell us about that.
Well, Exeter Past and Present was started 11 years ago. We bring on photographs of what's happening in Exeter now. We bring on old historic photographs of how Exeter used to be. And it's just, sort of a discussion. The only thing we don't have is politics. So,
I was going to say, when you say the photos that you bring on about past and present, the most fascinating ones for me are the ones of St Thomas, actually, of Carrick Street.
Yeah.
And it's probably because we live here, but to see Carrick Street the way it was and the way it is now, and not really changed that much one end.
Well, have you ever seen the old Victorian pictures of Alphington Road? Have you ever seen that? It is
Yes,
beautiful.
yeah.
You've got trees,
Yeah.
you've got iron railings, you've got what's that place now? Is a supermarket there? Co-op,
Oh, well,
it's
yeah,
changed.
Little or Aldi?
Oh, that used to be a fantastic Victorian building.
And I think
Right.
the other side was a doctor's surgery or something.
But I know that all the railings got. Do you know why all the railings were gone?
Yeah, for the war
For the
effort.
war effort, yeah, the
Yeah.
garden
they literally
railings
cut
went,
all the railings away and to make weapons. Yeah, that was. But we're interesting to say about politics. So politics, a lot of people I've noticed lately don't care about politics, and I respect your platform that you don't want politics. Same with Spotted in Alphington. Rob, you want to come in on something?
Yeah, I
don't
just
you?
want to reverse this a little bit, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
Helen. We've got a couple photos, or at least one photo up there of a family. Did you already tell us about that? Did I miss that?
Well, that's on the photograph there. That's my grandfather, my grandmother, and the baby is my father. And
Is that right?
well, I often wondered why he was wearing a skirt, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Well,
that's my father.
in these days, it's quite normal, isn't it?
So when
Yeah.
was that photo taken?
That
you
would
think?
have
It was
been
about
taken.
1930?
Yeah, no, before that. My father was born in 1914, so
Oh my goodness.
probably about 1915, 1916.
Okay. And Neil, you have a little sort of
Well, no, the reason-
biographical account
yeah,
there on
so
the right.
If,
What
if
is
you
that?
ever if you ever want history, you need to get these names up. So look at Reginald Thomas Hill, killed in action, 1917, age 19. George Robert Hill, served, returned, lived locally. Two men from two different families, from one family, sorry, and both outcomes differently. And I have three brothers, one sister, and losing one of my brothers, I would be devastated if I lost my sister the same. So how people coped in them days, their intentions were good to look after Britain, to save Britain, to go to war, to fight. And, I always say misinformation sometimes because you can actually send a picture out. I don't want to flick to Afghanistan, but I thought my intentions with Afghanistan was to help the people. But when I went there, I realised that our government wasn't listening to us anyway. And that's another story which I'd love to tell you.
I can add to that a little bit, Neil, from my family also, because my father enlisted in 1944 and eventually became the Air Force, U.S. Air Force, and he retired from the Air Force. And then my uncle, his brother, joined in 1942 with the U.S. Navy. He saw action, supporting the delivery of materials to Europe. and how about your family, Neil?
Yeah, so we had on my mother's side. My mother's side had. We're trying to work out his grandfather. It's her grandfather. Actually.
Yeah, it probably was her grandfather
her
looking
dad.
at it.
Her grandfather served in the trenches in the First World War, and she has 2 medals or 3 medals, which I keep telling her when we do Remembrance Parade.
Yeah,
or
wear them
Remembrance
with pride.
She should wear them with pride because yes, my father's side they were farmers, so they were looking after and feeding the nation, so they didn't go to war. I decided I actually had asthma when I was very, very young, and they said I couldn't join the army. I actually wanted to be a Marine, actually. Did you know, Helen?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
cabbage head, yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to join the Marines, and they said I couldn't join the Marines. So then I thought, well, I'd join the army. And I had to do all these tests in Plymouth to see whether I had asthma. And I have to tell you, quite embarrassing, when I went away to do all my testing and all your exams, I wanted to be an RMP. Yeah, you know what RMP is?
No.
Regimental
Military.
Police. And they said, I'll tell you what, Miss Stevens, because they don't call you first name. They said, Stevens, tell you what would be a good job for you. You know, being a bit young and a bit dumb. They said, being a paratrooper. I went, no, paratrooper, that sounds good. You know, not realising in them days, which is a long time ago, expectation life of a paratrooper in war is how long, Tony?
Not long at all. I
48
think
hours.
They were
wow.
bullet catchers, weren't they?
But what they really meant, you're a little bit solid and you're not going to be an RMP. But I tell you what, I learned so much being a paratrooper, and that's what put a foundation under me. And
Little
I'm
piece
very
of trivia,
proud.
Neil. I'm a paratrooper as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm airborne qualified, and I was stupid enough to jump out of C-130 about 1 million times.
Well, I've got about 5-6 sets of wins, and I'm very proud of that. And all the people I've served with, thank you ever so much for looking
You got
after
me beat, Neil. I guarantee you.
Anyway, not swinging the lantern here because there's too many war stories.
Let's bring it back to Helen for
Yeah.
a piece of trivia or an important question, actually. Tell people, where is the memorial in Exwick, Helen?
It's by St Andrew's Church. It's right next to the church. What would I say? Opposite the black and white buildings.
Okay, is that a memorial for both wars?
No, just the one war.
For World
So
War I?
there's
World War
no
One.
memorial for the Second World War. then?
No.
I wonder why that is then.
No idea.
No,
You've got to be very proud, though.
Oh, definitely.
Because when you reached out to me, I thought, do you know what? This lady, I need to meet her.
And Helen, back to this one again. Sorry to retread slides here, but who's that handsome man, and what does he have on his chest? Is that a ammunition or something? Or
That's
what?
my grandfather. I believe, I don't know for a fact, but I believe he was on the horses, on the war horses.
Artillery, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Royal Artillery, that's correct.
So he's got a, he's wearing
Spurs.
spurs, yeah, and he's got a whip. So, quite interesting.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? The war's different, isn't it? Remember them days? You used to
Yeah.
be in the trenches, but
So this is
saying
World
that.
War
Oh, yeah,
One.
yeah.
Was it Helen?
That was World War One.
Yeah. What do you think he has on there, Neil? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I think it's his number 2s, I would say. Number 2s, and it's more for show, really. But
Okay.
yes, they used to have a bandolier type for ammunition, but I would say that's more for show. I would be corrected because there's a lot of people out there who would correct me.
Yeah. And just add my friend, old Rob Bone, okay?
Oh, is he back again, Rob?
Anyway, no, thanks a lot for, got a lot of people watching tonight. I'm really thrilled. But Rob mentioned that his father was in the Second World War and his grandfather was in the First World War. So it's clear, not only in Britain did both wars touch a lot of people, but also in America and also in Australia and in the whole world.
Well, you
really.
got to remember Canada.
People served.
I mean, I
there's-
was going to say that
there's a lot of people.
the First World War, when it was over, they did say it was the war to end all wars, but obviously it never did. With the Second World War
to
coming.
Tony, not me. I'm doing a stretch here.
Yeah, right. Don't
I
wanna
didn't
say-
get to bed till 1
Yeah,
o'clock
so like
last
I
night.
said, it was said at the end of the First World War that was the war to end all wars, but it didn't, obviously, and World War II came along. And I look at it now and I think,
You can see where we're leading here. So Helen, without pulling politics, we're leading to Helen, Exwick. I think they lost 15 people from Exwick.
yeah.
15 young men, okay, from Exwick went to war, and 15 young men never came home.
Which I don't know how many from Exwick went originally
Well,
as well.
if you think about 15, 15's connected to, they could have wives, they could have children, they'd have grandparents. So it's not just 15 people. It affects everybody, war does. Everybody. All right? And every war affects everybody. And we're building this up to discuss about America. We're going to discuss about the British Army. And because you're neutral, reason is I would love your opinion as well on this. So Helen hasn't been rehearsed. Her grandfather and her family have been in the First World War. Our grandfather, great-grandfather was in the First World War. I think this is, it could be a little bit of a hot potato, actually, I think.
Hey, and just to add, we've got some more comments coming in, but Doug mentioned that, I think if I got this right, Doug, both of your parents served in World War II, and they met each other in World War II, obviously becoming your parents, I guess. But yeah, there was a lot of people met, and a lot of Americans met lovely British ladies and men, right?
Yeah.
It was a really
If you ever get
everybody
a
got
chance,
together really and really, had the mission in mind, right?
if you ever do interesting battlefield tours is very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
If you go to Arnhem, you go and do the Maisie guns. A lot of you won't know what the Maisie guns are. Fantastic. The story about the Maisie guns, you won't know that.
No.
Yeah. So it's if you ever get a chance, do your research on the history, because it doesn't matter where you come from. A lot of people gave up their lives in order for us to live the way we live.
Well, it's that important thing as well. They gave up their lives for the right for you to vote.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is another reason that we do plump. It doesn't matter who you vote for, you have to vote.
So going back to this, right, British Army, strong. You're going to flick the thing back, Rob. You're now not concentrating. Rob is now being distracted by my beautiful wife, right? And now he loses that you've done really... Right, British Army today. Now, I'm a dab hand at this. Helen doesn't really know much, but I want your opinion, Helen.
Okay.
Okay. Right, the medals in the right-hand corner is your grandfather's medals.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
and you should be very proud. Do you ever wear them?
No, my brother's got them. They were passed down to the
Does
hills.
he ever wear them?
No,
Tell him to put them
No.
on his right side of his chest.
I will do.
Okay, and tell him to be proud. And if he doesn't wear them, you need to wear them.
Yeah, okay.
Right, on
Yeah.
Remembrance Day. And, I'm trying to get my mother to do it. And she said, well, I never earned them medals. It's not about earning them medals. It's about your family has contributed to
Oh, yeah.
put us into where we are now. Okay. So, Rob, put that slide back up again.
You got it, sir.
So the medals on the right is what Helen's family have the right to wear on their right-hand side. And if my mother, Mrs. Gillian Stevens, is watching, you need to put your medals on. Right, British Army today. Okay. When was before today? Before Napoleon time, or Napoleon, we were the lowest then in Napoleon times. We had the lowest amount of soldiers. You knew that, Alan?
No, I did. Well, my partner's ex-Navy, so he gives
Well, he's
me
a Matlow, is he?
he gives me all the
Anyone else
information on
should have went
politics.
Soaknil.
I mean, he watches all the politics shows and what have you, and he said our army now couldn't survive a war.
No.
You know, there's not
I
enough.
always call them-
There's not enough.
I always say they're home defence now. Hang on, Rob's not concentrating on the show here. He's getting distracted, Dana. Right, so we have around 70,000 to 70. You have to stop doing that, Rob. That's going to really irritate me. That is. I don't know what you're laughing at, Stevens. That's my wife I'm telling off now. Well, we have about 75,000 soldiers in the British Army, men and women, okay? Right, remember, they're not all fighting. They're support. They're officers. I'm not saying officers don't fight. I'm very careful what I say there. Yeah. Rob, sorry, you as an officer. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we are now 70 to 75,000 troops, less than Napoleon times. I think Napoleon times had about 90,000. We were under strength and undermanned. So the question is, are we a defence force or are we a fighting force? Tony?
I never served in the military, but when I see it from an outside, we do look as though we're now a defence force. We just don't have the men. I think
women.
you summed it.
And
Summed
women.
it up. Eh?
And women.
And the women. Sorry, yeah.
Christ, they're
I
braver
didn't
than
think
us.
the women were actually on the front line, but I mean,
Well, the Queen was was very active in World War II, wasn't she?
Yes. But from my point of view, you know, and again, I've got to emphasise, I never served. We're understrength. We've been underfunded for previous parties as well. It's not just this party; it's being run down. Our navy is non-existent. The ships that we have got mainly docked, and it sums it up really with the problems now. And the one fighting ship that we seem to want to move doesn't want to go anywhere.
The Dragon.
The Dragon, which
Dragon's lost its
Helen,
fire.
last time I heard was still just outside the harbour.
So Helen, as it knows, in Cyprus actually.
Oh, it's in there now, is it? It
So
moved quick.
yeah, read the news. Helen, as a political neutral person, and you have military experience because in your family, what's your view in the state of the Britain? And she doesn't know we're going to bring this up, by the way, but I just want a neutral person to discuss about the British Army.
Well, I think we are very ill prepared if anything did happen in this country. We don't really have the manpower to fight any invasion. You know, it's
Yeah, but why don't we just be neutral? Why don't we just not have an army? Why don't we send everybody home? And why don't we just like play the banjo or something?
well, be a good idea, or guitar.
I got to say quickly, I read somewhere that when the Falkland Islands War was on, Margaret Thatcher could produce a navy and a lot of ships to go there as a task
I read
force.
that too, yeah.
Yeah, I read that, which was really interesting. And you've got to question, if something like that happened again, could we repeat the process?
Let's just step back now because we're going out of the box. So what I'm looking at now is the British Army, which is the RAF, all the reserve elements, the Navy. The question is, do we send everybody home, pack your bags, go home? You know, like the Green people want to do, you know, get rid of neutral deterrent. Let's not have anybody there.
No, absolutely
All right,
not.
let's get everybody in. This is a political bit of a stunt there because I actually have to tell you, I've been a little bit disillusioned lately, Helen, because some of what I've been hearing and reading, but we'll come back to it in a minute. So let's look at the Army, the British Army or the Navy, everybody who defend this country. Do you think we need a defence force? Helen?
Yes, we do.
But why?
Absolutely.
Because you're neutral, so why?
Well, I mean, someone's got to protect us, I think, you know.
But protect against what?
Well, any type of invasion.
I'm not pushing around. I'm not fishing her. Rob, you put your hand up.
Yeah, well, the best way, to many anyway, to military experts, to prevent someone from doing something is to have a good defense. Okay, so for example, you know, if you want to prevent somebody from getting in your back garden, you put a gate up with a lock on it, right? And when you don't have a gate up with a lock on it, somebody who's had something to drink, maybe he'll wander in the back garden. So you got to have a deterrence. And, you know, had Ukraine had a better deterrence, then maybe Russia wouldn't have invaded. What I was wondering, Neil, is what would happen, for example, if all of a sudden Putin said, you know, I'm fed up, I'm going to send some drones over and attack the city of London or attack Helen's house or your house? You know, what would we say then?
Oh, we just go to Trafalgar Square and pray. Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say that, am I?
Yeah.
I'm surprised if I don't get arrested. Sorry, I get a little bit upset because the way we are right now. And, you know, I have grandchildren. You know, I listen to you, Helen. I listen to your family. You sacrificed. Two went, one came home, one didn't. You know, I've done some stupid things in, you know, going abroad, and I wouldn't do it again for this country. I can tell you that. All right. And your question is, if Putin did this, he's not worried about us. But that's going to lead on to America in a minute. Let's not jump out the box. So going back to the British Army, Tony, what's your view on that?
You asked me just now. I mean, it's underfunded, understrength, and the weapons.
But why do we need weapons? Because the Greens want to neutralise us.
Well, the Greens want to sort of take away our nuclear capacity, which is a deterrent. You know, you have nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but we all got peace and love in the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could always sort of hand them daffodils and stuff like that and say peace.
Well,
but
we have a military base. I think you have a military base in Cyprus, maybe two of them, right?
Yeah, Nicosia.
So,
yeah, I've been to that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Iran sent some drones over into the base, and we didn't do anything to defend it. And now the Cypriots are questioning whether you should have the base there or not, because basically you're not even defending your own
I'm
people.
ashamed. I'm
right?
ashamed. So I was in Cyprus years ago when Syria was going on, and 6 typhoons, Helen, landed.
Oh dear.
They said, surprise, actually 4 of them actually made it there. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. 4 of the typhoons could not take off because A, they didn't have the equipment or for the replacement parts, so they could only fly 2 of them. And that's a fact. And if anybody wants to tell me I'm wrong, come and speak to me, because I was actually there. All right, it's freaking disgusting.
So if
Right.
you don't want to defend our
I'm getting
bases on
aggressive,
Cyprus, or people on Cyprus, or military and civilians, then what good is it to have bases on Cyprus? And
Well, you pack it. Well, we were there supposed to. If you know the history of Cyprus, won't go into it, but they're there for a reason. But yeah, what? But then why are we having bases? We're jumping the gun again. Helen, sorry, you're looking at me. Put
It's
your
all right.
input in, because Helen's neutral, and do you know what? It's really, really lovely to have you here. But I get very frustrated because I've put my heart and soul to this country. My heart and soul in this country, and I just want this country to be great. Well, we're not Great Britain anymore. We're just. Oh, well, I can't-
Well, we're Britain, aren't we? Really?
I'll
That's
come
it.
back to what. Yeah.
Multicultural. You know,
Well,
you
years ago,
say
people
anything
wanted
out
to
of
join up,
spec.
but now they don't, do they?
You know,
No.
anything you say
Well,
can
then
be
that's
taken out
Capita
of
then.
context.
So Capita is a private company who actually enlist people. They do all the test. Do you know what? It's horrific. The people we lose. You know, it takes over a year, if I'm correct, to actually get into the army. I was proud to serve the army. I was proud to be in that British army. I'm not proud anymore, by the way, and I'm not proud to be British right now. And yeah, my wife's looking at me, telling me to calm down because I get very passionate about this
I
country.
dispute that. You are very proud to be British, but you're a bit dismayed at. I would
Well, it's the
imagine,
road we're going
about
down,
how-
isn't it?
How the state of
No,
our
let's get
country-
this right. The Islamic State of Great Britain. We've got to be very careful. Okay,
Yeah.
we got to cut that off. So
Well, we have a culture that's evolved over hundreds and hundreds of years. We're proud of that, and everybody wants to come here, and we have to defend that because, unfortunately, there are some bad guys. Like Hitler was a bad guy. You know, he wanted to
Yeah.
control everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Khomeini from Iran. He had in
well,
the
let's
country's
go back to
manifesto.
the
So
war.
we have
Let's
to
go back to
defend
the war.
ourselves against bad guys.
Let's go back to the war in Iran. I think we've got to be very careful now because we could have a phobo war. Agreed?
I agree with
No.
that.
Why do you think we get?
Escalation, Iran, America, bringing all these other people into it, their delivery to it. So we have to, but there's a very, very fine line here. It's a very fine line about this now. All right. So the question is, we don't, as a nation, we don't have an army. Really.
No, we don't. Not at all.
Yeah. So where do we go, Helen, from there?
Well, I mean, the thing is, we're bringing more and more people into the country from other cultures. Do they care about us? You know, do they care about our culture? Our culture's sort of being lost.
Yeah.
In sort of, you know, it's being drowned, if you like. But it's happening in most other countries as well because there's so much immigration here, there and everywhere that we're losing cultures everywhere. I mean, I've not travelled abroad for a long time now, but when I do go abroad, I like to sense the culture and I like to taste the foods. But it's all, you know, you go to some places now and there's a McDonald's there and, you know, it's quite sad, really. So, you know, I think our culture is silently being stamped out, and we are losing it. I mean, coming back to
We're losing it every generation.
we are
as well, aren't
losing
we?
it, and people are losing pride,
It's
aren't
been
they?
watered down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. So it's the nation's changing.
definitely is. Yeah,
So the question is it changing for the right, or is it, you know, for the good things, or it changing for the bad things? And people will make decisions, and people will go left, and they will go right.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, I have to respect what people want. And it's really interesting to see. My view is how the nation is not going in the direction I want it to go.
No, it's not.
But
not
I
at all.
have to respect everybody's view. At the end of the day, the Greens are doing well in Manchester, and for whatever reason. But then I read their policies yesterday.
Yes, they are a
it's
bit,
verging on communism, socialism. It is verging on that. So all these students, these young people, and we were at the airport yesterday. Donna, we were at the airport yesterday. Yeah. And we spoke to a young lad, and it was quite, I didn't mention about politics, but my wife said, blah, blah, blah. And he said, it's very interesting because I used to be a student. And he said, Helen, now I got a job. Oh, I thought, well done. Being a student, getting a job, that's pretty good, Tony.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then he said, then I realised what taxes I got to pay. I have to pay this. It's 39 taxes, by the way. And, his outlay was totally different, right? Because if you read what these different parties, and not going to talk about that party, communism, socialism, somebody who works really hard and he makes money has to give it to somebody who doesn't want to work hard.
Just back to the British Army, Neil. I think another reason, right, is we're very proud. Britain used to be a huge, probably the biggest power in the whole world, right, a few hundred years ago.
Yeah.
And we even though we don't like to be colonials, we still like to think that we're respected around the world. And when you have America with the biggest military, having to defend everything, Israel and all the Middle East partners, really, from Iran sending drones and undermining the whole Middle East, and none of the European countries really doing anything about it, then quite frankly, Europe doesn't really have a say in it because America doesn't need Europe, really, because it doesn't have any army or navy. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm going to put that to Helen.
Well, I was just thinking. I mean, pride in our country, was it lost when we lost our Queen? She was a huge figure, and she served in both. Well, she served in the Second World War, and now people are going sort of, anti-royalty, which I think is a shame. We do need our royal family. I mean, we should be proud of our royal family.
I think that's the way society's moved on now.
I think that's with Epstein in it and all that shit. Yeah, I just think that's. So my wife's looking at me. I can't say what I want. Yeah,
That's another one.
I've met King Charles, and I thought he was lovely. By the way, you put the camera on me now, Rob.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
Neil. I'm glad that King Charles thinks you're lovely. Okay, so back on track
I didn't
here.
say
okay?
that.
And the
I
Queen
said
did
I
as
think
well,
King
didn't she?
Charles
Yes, I
Yeah.
do have an American accent, and believe it or not, I am a retired lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Air Force. But so I can ask you, maybe we can get into a little debate. Why should the UK support America, or why should we support you? Is maybe more important. What do you think, Helen?
Well, America certainly helped us during the wars, both wars. When we needed the backup, America were there. So, yeah, I think we should support each other.
I'm gonna.
Come on, Neil.
It's very interesting what you
things.
say because you're neutral. So, if we didn't have the Americans coming on the Second World War, we could either be speaking German or whatever.
Yeah.
So I always think right, but I'm not going to condone what he is. I'm not going to say what he's done is correct. Okay, that's a fact. That's my personal view. But America, for whatever
who's he?
president,
You talking about me?
no, for whatever president, let's talk about the American. The Americans have given trillions, and I'm not talking billions, trillions of dollars to NATO and the defense of Europe. Trillions.
Trillions. You're exactly right.
Right, trillions. And that's not our money. We moan about Potter. We moan about paying extra council tax, which I do disagree with, by the way, and 39 taxes. That's another podcast, by the way. But they pay trillions so we can live safe. Right, and the wife's looking at me right now, being calm, and I'm being calm. Iran is a terrorist organization, and they have sponsored. And I used to pull up the cable for IEDs, okay, in Garesh, Nadi Ali, Muzakala, you name it. I used to pull the cable up, and it literally said, made in Iran. Right? And if you think, well, that's it. That's the truth. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, Rob, you want to butt into me?
No, it's just wondering if we could weave Helen into this a little bit. But
Yeah, go for it.
I can maybe add to that a little
So
bit.
I'm very passionate because I've lost friends and that. So,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
sorry.
basically, bottom line is very simple: is Iran is committed to the wiping out the state of Israel, and in fact, there's substantial disagreement because with Saudi Arabia and a lot of the Middle East countries, and thank goodness the U.S. was able to weave together a coalition of a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, so that for example, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, they're all on the side of defending the Middle East against Iranian aggression through, because basically Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis are proxies for Iran, and they're making mischief, and you
Just
can see that.
explain about proxies because people might not know that.
Okay, well, what a proxy is instead of, well, let's just say, bad example, maybe just say, you don't want to say something, okay? So I'll say it for you, okay? And I can be the bad guy, and they can wipe me out.
And they're funded.
And the funding,
Money. Because you
Okay.
don't go anywhere
Well-
without money.
yeah. Well, I'm not going to call for some money for you, okay? You'll have to pay your own way. But anyway, that's what's happened is, unfortunately for the poor, I say poor Palestinians, but basically Hamas controls Gaza and the Palestinians. Even now, they're still surviving. And Hezbollah has 10,000 rockets, even though the UN has committed to peacekeeping. They've got 10,000 rockets in Syria, see? And they're all funded by Iran. That's a fact.
Right, let's bring it back. So why are we discussing this right now? Because a lot of people say, what's that to do with local issues, Helen?
Well, it's
I'll
not,
tell you
it's
what
not
it is.
really, but it all comes
Well,
down,
it
doesn't
all
it?
comes to
but
it.
The First World War, you lost your
Yeah,
part of your family
yeah.
because of a war. Okay, I've lost friends because of war. Tony, we've all been tarnished by it. So everybody in our areas, right, it's going to push up what? Food?
It'll push up
Oh,
the
yeah.
cost of
Fuel.
living, essentially.
Right.
You can already see it on
Yeah, but-
fuel prices going up.
Yeah, but why? Because people are saying we've already got the fuel. We only get what 5-10% from the Straits.
Well, I'll give you an example.
We've
What
got the fuel,
happened
but we
today-
don't have much
What
storage
happened
of fuel.
today is last night, Iran sent drones over and they knocked out a big, huge LNG plant for Qatar, and they supply a lot of the LNG, natural gas, to Britain, and our president has asked for the European allies to try to escort vessels through the Strait of Hormuz so that you could get some oil. America doesn't need the oil. We've got plenty of oil. So if you want to send some vessels over so you can guarantee your own oil, that might be a good idea. I think that's where they're
Right, so
coming
let's go
from.
back to the question. Right, America has just You're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't. That's my favourite saying, by the way, because if they did get the nuclear weapon, if they did bomb us, they did do this, you're damned if they didn't do anything. And when somebody does something about it, you're damned if you do because they did it. All right, and you get all these good people, and I'll tell you what, I've worked with these. Won't go into politics as in too much. Right, there's some nasty people out there, and they don't give a shit about you. Right, and I'll tell you what, the Americans did what they did because they had to do something, and all they've done is they asked all these different nations to support them. Right, and it's quite embarrassing, really. How long did it take to get the dragon ship? We call it, Tony.
HMS Dragon, wasn't it?
What's your view, Mulligan? You can't say
No,
anything.
she's not saying that.
She's
She's
American.
keeping it under her self.
Yeah,
But
so-
you can see how it affects people. Getting back to the other bit,
Yeah, no. So in our local area, it's going to affect our fuel. Well, I don't
fuel,
wanna pay
cost
no
of
more
living,
fuel.
transport that gets your food to the supermarkets. All of this will go up because people don't want to lose money. the price of fuel, I think, will rocket for now, and then you'll get the panic buying.
Yeah, but I always thought we had reserve fuel.
No, we've got enough fuel to last us so long, and I think again
why are we
somewhere
charging more
I
money?
saw that we've got emergency gas for 3 days.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that came up,
So
which
Helen,
I was
The
surprised
country's buggered.
We are buggered, aren't we, really? Let's
Right.
face it.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, Neil, because
I mean,
Rachel
I've lived
Reeves
through the
is-
60s and the 70s,
at. And
and life
there's
was so
something
different.
I've got to add as well
Oh,
through all this.
Hang on, Helen. You lived through them days.
Oh, through the 60s and 70s, life was so different, so much more carefree. We didn't have internet. We
Free
didn't
love,
have.
wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. We didn't have internet. Although, I mean, I use the internet, I use my phone, and, now. But we were living a life of freedom. I mean, kids could go out to play freely. I mean, I used to go out all day and play, quite happily. But now you're afraid to let your kids go out. I mean, we've become so overcrowded. If a car isn't going to knock them down, somebody will snatch them. It's just don't know what's going to happen. So I think
What are we doing wrong?
too many people in the country. Too many people. Bring more people into the country.
It's
we've
different
got more
cultures,
cars.
isn't it?
Yeah, we've got more cars, more houses. The roads get busier. I mean, Exeter's gridlocked all the time, isn't it?
Well, yeah, okay. This leads on this. So we've discussed about the British Army. I think it's sad we're in this state of affairs. We've discussed, do you support America? I'm not saying what they did was correct, or I'm not saying it's wrong. At the end of the day is when they ask us to support them, I think we should, right? Because they're not asking us to get involved with the war. They're asking us to keep the straits open. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Keir Starmer, to me, like people.
You think the minimum they would defend, UK would defend its base is Cyprus, right?
Well, I'm really worried now because if I was American president, which I never will be, and whether you like him or loathe him or whatever, you hate him, if somebody didn't come to my aid and support me by asking, he had to ask, and they said, I'd say, I think NATO's gone. By the way, that's my view. I think NATO's gone.
Yeah.
Right, because
But did it ever work in the first place, Nate?
it did because
Of course
America
it did,
propped it up.
Definitely, yeah.
What's your view, Rob?
Well, when you say NATO's gone, America will always be. America has deep ties. For example, me, I have a British child here. I've got American children all over the world. Yeah, well,
That didn't sound good, did it, Rob?
well, no, I've been blessed by
Wherever you were based,
a
is
great
that what you're
family. I have
saying?
4 children. I'm a very blessed man. But what I'm saying is, there are historic ties here, and we love Europe. We have the same culture still, largely. Americans love the British. Americans love the British military. Just a quick story. I was on a project in Brighton for 5 years, and the man running it was a £500 million project. The man running it from the contractor side, Drew, was the former logistics sergeant major, and he, Tony, could pick you up with one hand, okay? In your secret underground bunker. So what do you think about that?
Well, I've worked with the Americans many a time, and I've done Louisiana, New Orleans, and I've flown down the California coast, and I've been into burning where the lightning have set fire to everything. I've jumped out of planes with them, and do you know what? If somebody asked me to support the Americans, I would. Yeah, right or wrong, because they've always been there for us.
And also, make a long story short, Russia and Putin, their GDP is the size of Texas, one state, out of the whole country of America. So if you guys really got hurting, America would be there and we could take care of it, no problem.
So my wife is actually doing her job right now. She's going to put the questions in. There's not many good questions. Guys, we're here for a reason, whether it's boring or whatever. If you've got a question to ask the questions. And we're going to flip off the subject now. So, we've looked at Helen, your family, very proud to be part of that
Absolutely.
family, very proud
Yep.
for you to come on. We've got a military background because we have. We've looked at the British Army. The British Army is very weak. Helen, your view?
I agree. We are very
We
weak.
need to do a bit more on that. Tony,
Yeah.
what's your view on that?
Well, I mean, it's right down to the whole of the British military, not just the army.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The Air Force, we don't seem to have that many planes either.
Oh yeah, well, I can tell you that. And all
Well,
shit.
you've summed it up on that one. I think the tanks, most of them are sort of probably being repaired somewhere. So it's really a sad state of affairs all round. And it's got to come to a point that
Got to flip the camera to Tony now.
well, no, I mean, you say you're talking. It's
I've
got
got
to
a
come to a
haircut, by the way.
point
Boy,
that the
Tony have a
government
haircut.
have got to sort of invest. And when you hear that they're going to sort of increase the investment, but not until 2028, 29, well, that, funny enough, is an election year. You know, that's a long way off. This money should be invested now and put where it should be put, and not what they're spending on at the moment. Which, again, I've got to be very careful what I say, because else there'll be a knock on our secret bunker door.
Yeah. Okay, let's cover off some questions here. Tina says, any news on improving our buses in and out of the town center, please?
The bus.
Buses.
The buses. Okay, so everything's going to change in April. They've told me. I've relayed about the buses in Exwick, Cowick, St. Thomas and all that. But I've had other people write in about the e-bus. So all these are going to go into Stagecoach. Right, let's see what April come along. You know, Labour's supposed to invest 14 point something million towards electric buses. That doesn't change the actual system of the buses. So let's ask a question. What would reform do? Accountability. All right, tracking. We'd track them buses. And if I have to sat in that office and track them buses in Middlemore, Tony,
Yeah, at the Haytock.
right? If we have to
Not
put
Haytock,
somebody
yeah.
in Middlemore to track them buses, we will track them buses, right? We need accountability. If them buses aren't doing, you need to be fined. That's it. That's reform.
Okay.
Right,
thanks,
that's a
Neil.
political stance now, by the way, Helen, sorry.
That's all right.
Got a couple more going here. Okay, Ian, thanks. You have a few comments. One of which was, he said, sadly, the storage tanks have fallen into disrepair and now have very limited capacity.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say that the
Or dismantled.
talk about the base in
Storage
Cyprus
tanks,
and
where's that?
HMS
They used
Dragon.
to be down Haven Road. They were Water Lane. The gas storage tanks were actually dismantled and taken away.
Oh, right, yeah.
Gone.
I'm surprised they don't build student houses.
Okay.
Well, they probably will be. But, I mean, give it time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And Ian,
But it is near your favourite place, your energy waste centre, Neil. So,
Oh, my God.
you know,
Right, I'm going to have to bring this up. Can you flick me onto this, Rob? Sorry.
I
well-
didn't think you were going to.
I'd like to cover off
All
some
right,
of
go
our
then.
audience questions.
So I've been
because
told off.
actually
Sorry, Rob.
Our great audience is actually more important than you, okay? With all due respect.
No, yeah, respect. Oh, I appreciate that.
But
Thank you.
no, we're here for the people. Thanks very much. Ian made a comment about the base in Cyprus and HMS Dragon will increase that capability. Yeah, but that's only one ship, see. Tina says, regarding if it's buggered, we should be moving forward to improve Exeter. And offers on buses so people can travel around a little bit easier during holidays, for example. So some of these are difficult
Well, listen,
questions.
no, it's not a difficult question.
Okay.
So what she's trying to say is, if I remember what Tina said, in the old days, the buses used to travel. We had no issues. We had no problems. People can get on the bus. They can go from A to B. They can do appointments. They can go shopping. Right. Well, let's look at the infrastructure.
Say it right, yeah.
Okay.
Just
So
remember
you
it.
can build and build and build. All right. And, you know, the government and all governments, can't always point Labour and Exeter City Council, they're building. They're building and they're building. You got Teambridge building on the outskirts of Ede. Sorry, that's coming up, guys. That's really going to annoy people. But on the outskirts of Alphington. But there's nothing there. The roads are still the same.
And Neil, Andrew is basically saying we should appreciate our culture more and we should guard it.
Well, it's being watered down, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well,
I mean,
well,
I'll
well,
say it if no one else will.
Yeah, but hang on. If we appreciate our culture, I'm called right wing.
No, you just call it common sense, and that's what reform is, common sense. And old Rob Bone, thanks a bunch. He thinks
Rob again.
Prince William should become king sooner rather than later to regain faith in the royal family. Thank you very much. So back to you, Neil. You wanted to go into some sort of leaflet, eh?
Now, I just get disheartened, and you know, listening to you, Helen, I think brilliant. You know, I think really appreciate you coming on. And
I mean, I'm proud of what your family did, and it is really sad that one of them didn't come back because at 19 years old, he would have had his whole life ahead. Oh, there we go. He would have had his whole life ahead of him, but and all it is now, which is good, he's not forgotten.
He'll never be forgotten.
He'll be never forgotten. And, you know, I'd like to think that November the 11th, he'll always be remembered.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Right, so let's look at it. Next week, we're going to be looking at political side of it, so I'm not going to make an apologies for that. We've got an interesting meeting tomorrow regarding safe space. That's going to be very interesting, where we're going to be holding Devon County Council for account, but that's add-on to that. Nat Vanstone, which is our local councillor, hope you're okay. We do miss you. He has his little operation turned out to be a little bit more than a little operation. But we're going to discuss all these leaflets which have been delivered around Exeter. And a lot of people were asked, why have Reform not said anything? Well, we don't need to say anything right now, right? Because
Well, do people want...
Tony, these leaflets, I can pull the bits.
Yeah.
All right, we can pull these to bits. It doesn't matter whether you're Green, Lib Dem, Conservative, Labour. All right, we can pull them. So we're going to be next week, Helen. I know you're politically neutral. It's called Pull the Leaflets a Bit Show. Robert, you didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't. But thanks. But we're good at that, aren't we? We know what's happening.
Well, no, I just read this and I just think, what a load of rubbish they write. And do you know what? Misinformation is...
Well, can I point something out, Neil? I just scanned that leaflet, but on the leaflet from our lefty Labour people, Lucky Lucy mentions that Exeter is a greener environment. Yeah, thanks a lot, because all the weeds are around. You go on any street, you know, there are weeds growing out. In fact, the buddleia plants have got trunks thick as bricks now,
It's
right?
all bullshit. All right, you got the solar farm which got diesel engines. You got the heat source pump. They're going to pump gas turbines in there. And do you know what? Labour delivering for Exeter, providing strong local services. Where? Making Exeter City cleaner and greener. Okay, that's
Well, they're shutting the toilet, so
investing in safer streets. But Reform. Sorry, Helen, I have to look at you. Chaos and division with Nigel Farage, Reform UK.
I think what they frequently miss is they say, we're doing this, we're doing that. And they say, we're giving away money. We're the One Energy plant down at Marsh Barton. How many millions, tens of millions of pounds to do this, do that, and the other thing, right?
They're getting 42.5 million off the government. They're investing 110 to 150 million, but that's other people's money as well, and it's all a bag of bollocks.
Yeah.
well, there we go.
Yeah. So let's see, 42 million pounds divided by how many residents Exeter paying
None.
taxes?
Deals with the hospital, the university.
100,000. Let's say 100,000 residents paying taxes. Okay, so that's 420 pounds. Every resident pays 420 pounds just to get that one grant for the energy center. They don't ever tell people like Helen, thank you. Now give us the 420 because we're just going to divvy it up for our little woke projects.
Right, we have to end this because we're getting carried away. Sorry, we forget the clock. Helen, really, really appreciate it. Would you come back again and talk about
definitely,
your Facebook page?
Yeah,
about past
yeah,
and
why
present?
not?
Do you know
Yeah,
what?
I think that's an interesting subject.
Exeter's history always
Past and present of
fascinates me.
What made you do that then?
I used to go and take a lot of photographs when I was walking my dog, and I thought, you know, I could share these photographs, and then I thought, stick a bit of history in. So I started a page first of all, and
You
then
got
I
to put
thought
the camera on Helen.
it's
It's on me now. Gee.
I started a page first of all, and then I thought, well, it would be nice for people to join in and add their own bits and pieces. So then I started a group, and we've been doing pretty well.
So how many followers you got?
Oh God,
Roughly.
about 30,000, I think.
Guys, if you can do it past and present,
Exeter past and present.
If you've got any old photos of Exeter, pass them on to Helen.
Oh yes, please, absolutely.
Anything to keep
back
the
to
history
Helen,
of
back to
Exeter
Helen,
going.
Rob, back to Helen.
Yeah, and there's also an Exmouth past and present. I was actually born in Exmouth, but I came up to Exeter to live soon after, and my family come from Exeter. But yes, I'm very, very interested in the history of Exeter.
Anything. Check your lofts.
We
Yeah.
got some nice pictures.
Yeah.
My uncle was a cobbler in Exeter when the street was there, and he locked up the street, locked up his shop, and then he forgot something, and he went back. He come back, and the whole street was bombed. Haven't left, and we got the pictures for what was before and after.
Oh, wonderful.
And he was
Yeah.
a real
I mean,
proper
it's
cobbler, wasn't he?
yeah, and really interesting to see our Nan's sweet shop actually as one of the pictures, which is all gone now because there's a big hotel beside it.
Yeah,
but
we got pictures to show you.
it's
Helen.
really,
wonderful.
really
Yeah, that
interesting
would
to
be
see
good.
what we can remember.
So going back to let's finish off. If you've got any pictures, past and present for Helen, please get in touch with her. Do it, Helen.
To go straight onto the Facebook.
Right,
and
we're gonna invite
but
you
make
back
sure you
again.
answer the questions, because otherwise, we've got to keep scammers out. So make sure you answer the questions when you request entry into the group.
Okay, so this is 38th show, Rob. 39. We're going to celebrate 50. Are we?
Well, I would have celebrated 40 as well, but that's just me.
Just want to thank
Well, we're gonna
everybody.
skip
Donna, thank
38,
you for in the
go to
background
50.
for directing me. Robert, I'll let you end with the show. Helen, thank you for coming. Tony, you're a legend. Nat, you're a wimp, but hopefully you'll come on next week. And thank you for everybody. And sorry, we're 6 minutes, 29 seconds over.
Well,
Okay.
that's because we're live, Neil.
Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. And next week, we're going to just take a little reconnoiter through some of these different leaflet propaganda things that have been coming in from the various woke parties, okay? That's
That would
going to be a lot of
very
fun, right?
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining us. See you next week, same time.
Respect the place that you call home. Respect the land in which you roam. Respect the country you were born. Let's take it back. Respect reform. Hold on to freedom, hold on to hope. Don't